Hi, I'm Andy Corliss, reporting today for CGTN. You can follow us on the CGTN app, or you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Weibo or YouTube. So the demonstration today is being led by Open Britain, the successor to the Remain campaign, to demand that the public get a vote on the final Brexit deal. It comes as pro-Brexit cabinet ministers attempted to pressurise Theresa May to deliver a hard Brexit and not to hesitate from abandoning talks with Brussels. As you can see, today's demonstration is getting well underway. People from all walks of life are coming together, eager to have their voices heard on what the final Brexit deal will be. It isn't really surprising for the large turnout, considering that this landmark decision to leave the European Union has the potential to change British society in a way most of us have never seen within our lifetimes. In terms of our relationships with Europe and the rest of the world, as well as the economic landscape. So let's have a look at some of the information from the media about some of the effects the Leave vote has already had. According to an economic study by the Centre for European Reform, the damage to the UK economy caused by the vote to leave the European Union 2 years ago already exceeds the size of the budget contributions Britain will be able to claw back when it finally leaves the bloc. On top of this uncertainty, Brexit has already caused a 2.1% dip in economic output. Even before Britain's departure next March, the CER said late Friday in an emailed statement. That's cost the public finances £23 billion in lost tax revenue, the think tank said. The economic damage means the Treasury has less money to spend on public services and knocks on the head the idea that Britain will enjoy a Brexit dividend when it no longer has to contribute to the European budget. As you can see, hordes of people are coming together now. And who's supporting the march? There are a number of organisations supporting the march today, including Open Britain, the European Movement, Britain for Europe, Our Future, Our Choice, For Our Future's Sake, Healthier In, Scientists for EU, Trade Deal Watch, Wales for Europe, and many others. So why are we marching for a people's vote? The argument from the organisation is that new facts have come to light about the costs and complexity of Brexit that no one could have known at the time of the referendum. Promises that were made by politicians about Brexit, like more money for the NHS, are not going to be kept. They also state that the Brexit process is a complete mess and that negotiations are going badly, making it more likely that a bad deal will be reached. A People's Vote spokesman has said that the 2 years since the referendum have been characterised by arcane parliamentary manoeuvres about the amendment or that amendment, and it was time to take the issue beyond Westminster and back to the people. So today's march will finish at the Parliament Square, and you can see it's well underway. And at the Parliament Square we'll see special guest speakers who will address the crowd. Anne Soubry will be amongst the speakers at the London March, along with the Labour MP David Lammy and the Liberal Democrat leader Sir Vince Cable, while the campaigner Gina Miller and the actor Sir Tony Robinson will also address those present from 2 p.m. There is some opposition to the march today, however, and there'll be protests held today by far-right UK Unity and Freedom March, which will start in Victoria at 2 p.m. and head to College Green near Parliament Square. It's expected to be smaller, with a few thousand people attending. Promoters say it will focus on freedom from the EU, freedom from terror, freedom of speech, freedom from Sharia law, and unity of all people, irrespective of race or creed. Gerard Batten, the UKIP leader, is expected to be present, but not the former leader, Nigel Farage. Today, police also expect members of the far-right English Defence League and the anti-Islam group, Pegida, to show up at a march that will conclude a few hundred metres away from where the People's Vote event will end. Anti-Brexit campaigners are focused on trying to create popular support for a referendum on whatever deal Theresa May achieves in negotiations with the EU. Polling and focus groups, led by Open Britain, to use the phrase "people's vote" in calling for a final referendum, in which remaining in the EU would be an option on the ballot paper. So let's get back to the march at hand. So you can see now people wandering through the streets. During the demonstration we'll see people passing by Trafalgar Studios, the Old War Office Building, number 10 Downing Street, Westminster and Big Ben, before finally arriving at Parliament Square. You can see all the people with their different placards now and the different flags in support of the demonstration today. EU flag, British flag. It's time to take back control, says one of the placards. And obviously a message to our government about the negotiation process. Okay, so today the People's Vote official website has listed some tips for the people joining the march. So they've advised people to bring a bottle of water because it's going to be a hot day. As you can see, it's very hot. And to bring a camera along so they can take plenty of pictures for this historic event. Obviously don't forget your placard. We can see many different placards. A big deal, not a deal done, amongst others. Make sure you plan your journey. It's going to be very busy on the streets today as the march takes precedence. Westminster Council have also asked people to keep off the flower beds and not to climb on the statues in Parliament Square. There are always a few, aren't there? Please respect the police and security services who are there for your safety. It looks to be going fairly well at the moment. And the demonstration looks very peaceful and calm. Many people from different walks of life, like I said, coming together to support this historic demonstration, which will end in the Parliament Square. Some lovely aerial views there of Westminster. So what's been said in the media about the demonstration? Writing in The Sun, Boris Johnson said, "The Prime Minister must ensure a full British Brexit." While Liam Fox said the UK was not bluffing about being prepared to walk away from talks with Brussels. David Davis told The Express that there is lots going on to make sure the government was ready in case negotiations collapsed. Also, in a poll on Friday, conducted by Survation for Good Morning Britain, it was found that 48% of respondents supported a referendum on the final deal, while 25% were opposed. A majority of those asked also said that they would support remaining in the EU by 53% to 47% if a referendum were held today. The People's Vote campaign is also highlighting the role of ordinary citizens, with Kieran Donovan, a delivery driver from Romford, East London, expected to appear on stage to sign a petition demanding a referendum on the final deal. The roughly £100,000 cost of the protest was raised over 7 days by a crowdfunding campaign. And a few of the people participating today have also been talking to the media. Femi Oluwole, founder of the Our Future, Our Choice youth movement, said, "People marching on Saturday are terrified that their futures and their kids' futures might be written in a Brexit deal negotiated by the likes of Theresa May, David Davis and Boris Johnson." So we can see many people here seem to be in agreement with that, as the demonstration has attracted hordes of people today. She went on to say, "We didn't trust the establishment in 2016. No blooming way are we going to trust them with this. The People's Vote March is the start of a national campaign that moves beyond Parliament and reminds people that they have every right to keep control of their future." So today, like I said, we're going to see the march end in Parliament Square. And Parliament Square is at the northwest end of the Palace of Westminster in central London. And as well as being one of London's main tourist attractions, it's also the place where many notable demonstrations and protests have been held in the past. The square has a historical significance for British politics, and the landmark itself is overlooked by various official buildings. Some of them we can see from these aerial views today. There is the legislature to the east, the executive offices to the north, the judiciary to the west, and the church to the south. So buildings looking upon the square include the churches Westminster Abbey and St Margaret's, the Middlesex Guildhall, which is the seat of the Supreme Court of the United Kingdom, government offices Great George Street, serving HM Treasury and HM Revenue and Customs, and Portcullis House. Parliament Square is also home to a number of important and iconic statues. There's 12, in actual fact, statues of British, Commonwealth and foreign political figures. We have Winston Churchill, who was of course Prime Minister between 1940 and 1945, and then again between 1950 and 1955. We have David Lloyd George, who was Prime Minister from 1916 to 1922, and we have Jan Smuts, the Prime Minister of South Africa between 1919 to 1924 and 1939 to 1948. Henry John Temple, who was Prime Minister between 1855 and 1858, then again between 1859 and 1865. We can probably see a few of them now from the aerial views if we look carefully. There's also Edward Smith Stanley, who was the 14th Earl of Derby, who was Prime Minister between 1852, 1858 to 1859 and 1866 to 1868. Benjamin Disraeli, the 1st Earl of Beaconsfield, who was Prime Minister between 1868 and 1874 to 1880. We have Sir Robert Peel, the Prime Minister between 1834 and 1835 and 1841 and 1846. George Canning, Foreign Secretary. Abraham Lincoln, the President of the United States, of course, between 1861 and 1865. Nelson Mandela, the President of South Africa, between 1994 and 1999. Mahatma Gandhi, the Indian independence leader. And finally, Millicent Fawcett, the campaigner for women's suffrage. Let's just take a moment to have a look at these aerial views, which are pretty impressive. You can see some of the famous landmarks of the beautiful city of London. So Open Britain, who organised the march today, is also planning a summer of action with events over summer aimed at putting pressure on Parliament to let the public have their say in the upcoming Brexit deal. So we can expect more events announced soon. Again, you can see all the different people that have come out today to support this demonstration. Some people just looking on, whilst other people directly involved in the march. A sea of colours and placards roaming through the streets of London. Haven't seen much opposition to the demonstration today, and the march seems to be going relatively peacefully. Of course, there will be an opposition march, like I said earlier, starting at 2 p.m. Someone there has a placard saying "Standing up for freedom of movement," which is a very big issue during this Brexit situation. Many people will be looking forward to hearing some of the speakers at the final destination today. There have been other referendums, other opposition, of course, to this, different campaigns, with George Soros-backed group Best for Britain has been separately campaigning for a second referendum, focusing on newspaper and outdoor advertising and local campaigning in parliamentary seats, where they hope to persuade the sitting MP to support an amendment for another vote. And it's encouraging supporters to attend the People's Vote March today. Many will be questioning if another vote will be able to go through at this late stage. The People's Vote campaign today is also highlighting the role of ordinary citizens and their wishes for the future of the country. So we'll see how it unfolds as the day progresses, and of course as the summer events start to unfold. Several people looking very happy to be there today. Okay, so I think that's all from us today. Thanks for watching with us, and like I said before, you can follow us on the official CGTN app or Facebook, Twitter, YouTube or Weibo. Thanks for watching with us.